I want to lay down the path to your first $10 million in cash collected. I know 99% of everyone watching this video has yet to even cross their first 10 grand a month. So why do I want to start by sharing this $10 million a year roadmap? Here's something that's interesting about life and business. You do not get what you aim for. You get what you deserve. 99% of everyone struggling to get past their first 10 grand a month, 100 grand a month is because they're aiming for that small number, which is 10K per month. There's infinite ways to get to your first 10K per month, but all of them are positioned for the lowest effort opportunities, which is they're promising you that you can do the least amount of work and get your first 10K per month. But unfortunately, life is about deserving the outcome that you want. So for me, what I'd like to focus on is if you understand how to get to $1 million a month business, how likely are you to know how to get to your first 10K per month? How likely are you able to become deserving of making your first 100 grand a month? It's highly likely that you can achieve this if you understand how to do $1 million a month. And that's what we're about to focus on. And what's cool is I'm not just going to share this for my own experience of having made $15 million in the last 3 years, but I want to share from the lessons that I'm actively learning from people doing much better than me and from the businesses that we're building and scaling in our community. I'd like to start this by sharing with you some of the top insights that I was reminded of from watching some of the bangers that Cole Gordon has been dropping on his YouTube channel. He used to work for a company called Traffic and Funnels. Traffic and Funnels used to help people online, coaches, consultants, service providers build their acquisition engine. But they also did launch an offer helping people become high ticket closers, which was called Sales Mentor. All of their offers, they were able to scale them past millions of dollars per month. Cole was a closer in that company, I believe, did really well, left the company to create Closers.io. Closers.io didn't evolve into what it is today, but I believe they also launched a coaching offer to help people become closers maybe 2-3 years ago. It was booming, helping people become setters, helping people become closers, I believe. That scaled past $1 million a month. But now today they behave more of like a recruitment firm where they place the talent you need to grow your current business. Think about it. If you want to scale past $1 million a month, you need people doing enough inputs to create $1 million worth of returns in your company. That's why most businesses, if you're stuck to get to your first 10K per month, 100 grand a month, $1 million a month, the number one thing you should look at is try to copy the size of the companies that have the revenue that you want to get to. But one thing that they also do, which is really cool, is they kind of like build and release the acquisition engines in the companies that are not ready for setters and closers. For setters and closers to exist in a company, they need lead flow. Well, if you don't have lead flow, you need a predictable engine that can generate you the lead flow you need to have setters be able to make money in your company. So they kind of like do both. And they also have coaching, they have masterminds. He also eventually, I believe last year, ventured off into helping more like franchises, local service businesses, med spas, a bunch of local service businesses. But he ended up giving away the equity into these businesses because it ended up becoming a distraction. Lesson number one, don't try to run a high ticket offer and also try to own the businesses. Anyone who says they own a portfolio of companies, they're just bullshitting. You should not listen to them. If someone like Hormozi cannot run more than like 6 companies in their acquisition.com kind of like holdco, what makes you think that your favorite guru online is actually owning a portfolio? It doesn't work like that, right? To run a portfolio of companies, you need to have an amazing team. You need to be a full-on private equity firm with different divisions that take care of the org charts of companies, the operational process, every single thing. You need a team for that. Most people don't have the operational kind of like skill to build that for even one business. Mind you, doing it for a portfolio of companies doesn't work. But anyway, the first thing that I found interesting when he started dropping videos on his YouTube channel is he came up with this idea, which is he thinks that you should either go full on B2C or go full on agency mode and help companies with done for you services. Trying to be in the middle is where you go to die. And I actually have an interesting perspective on this. I've been spending more money than I've ever spent on ads in the last year. So from my first 2-3 years in business, 4 years in business, I only spent, let's say, $500,000 on ads over 4 years. Just this year alone, I think I've spent a little over $250,000 on ads. And there is this thing that I noticed on ads, which is you're gonna get a lot more of these B2C people, even if you're calling out existing service providers. I want to explain why. When you're in the middle, going after people who are stuck between like 10K to 100K per month, those people are somewhat aware enough that you're trying to sell them something that ads don't actually work too well for them. Content, on the other hand, will work amazingly for them if you essentially grow on them. It's almost like a relationship that you need to build with them, which is probably why I bet that Cole is probably going to get more profits from his YouTube channel than he'll ever get on his ads. This is just a big, bold claim, but highly recommend that going after agencies, coaches, consultants with ads that are doing over 10K to 100K per month is cooked right now. It's just so cooked. They're just so sophisticated. It's unbelievable. But they're online watching all the content you post. Here's the other extreme. If you go to boring businesses, companies like professional firms, accounting firms, local service businesses, and you target them on ads, it will rip. And just to show you proof, every single day we launch a lot of AI agencies into these markets. And the way that we've done it is we've built a swarm of agents that's able to scrape every single niche you can think of, find the offers, the marketing angles, the funnels, every single asset around what the market is currently buying from vendors, from other agencies, but also how the top 1% in their markets is promoting their services. So think about, how does a company that's selling implants getting clients, right? Either how the top 1% is doing it and how the rest of the market is struggling to essentially be successful at it. And we're able to essentially find all their funnels, find all their ads from everyone who's targeting them, find everything that's working organically, find the winning formulas in every single niche. And at the end, we can also find agencies who are going after these companies and then just literally spin up the offer, start generating leads, start generating appointments. This works really well. And I think that Cole essentially did it really well in this video, which is, if your goal is to make $10 million a year, go to both extremes. B2C, consumers, help them get rich quick, or go to companies and sell them done for you services. For us, what we're doubling down on is exactly this. And another insight that really drove this home is this case study from this VSL Queen. So VSL Queen, they essentially started by building video sales letter. A video sales letter, for those who don't know, it's essentially you click an ad, you go on the landing page, and then there is a video that essentially tells you about the offer, tells you about who they are, tells you about how they help you, and gets you to essentially take action and book sales call and get you to show up. They started doing this for high ticket online service businesses. Think of agency owners, high ticket coaching offers, consulting, info products. But in this video, when you listen to it, because I highly recommend you check it out, Cole asked them, hey, what did you guys do to go from 500K to $1 million a month? Or, asked a little bit about, actually, I'll share a little bit of insights as to from 0 to 100K, from 100K to $500,000 a month, and then $500,000 a month to $1 million a month and beyond. To the first 100K per month, all they did is just started running ads. They said, hey, we want to help you create a VSL. We figure out a mechanism where we put a lady in front of the ad, and they're essentially helping them with creatives, and I believe even record the VSL. I'm not sure. And all they did is start spending $50 a day on ads. And this started getting them, I believe, 2 sales calls a day. They were running messenger ads. So nothing crazy. This got them to their first 100K per month. But to get to their first $500,000 a month, which is really interesting, is majority of all their clients are not online service businesses. They're not agencies. They're not info products. They're not coaching businesses. They're law firms. They're home services. They're lead aggregators. So the companies that buy a bunch of leads and then resell them to companies like insurance, lending companies, because they buy all these leads from vendors like NG, Thumbtack, all that good stuff. So they aggregate a bunch of leads, and what they provide to these companies is essentially the same thing: creative variants. They give them a lot of creatives, find the better hooks, find the angles that work better, that these companies don't have the skill nor the bandwidth to figure it out on their own. They have a lot of money, but they don't necessarily have the skills of, being an online marketer where you're just testing everything all day long. Insurance is another niche that they're also serving that's killing it for them. And then to get to $1 million a month, all they did is just added rev share to these companies and just increase their monthly retainer. That's it. So they doubled down on the 10% that brings in the most amount of money for them, increase how much money they charge every month, and also added rev share to it. So the path to scaling a service business where you're using human labor to make money is you go up market, charge more money, focus on the customers that bring you the most amount of money, that are the easier to serve, and just do more for them. Now, here's where things get interesting. What I did like about this transformation is that everything that they do, you can do and replicate with AI. So I'll explain. The number one thing that they're solving for these businesses is creative. How do you hook people's attention? Right now, the way that they're doing it is with humans. They're getting humans, UGC creators to essentially record the ad for the businesses. And the way that they figure out a way to essentially create better ads is by transforming the messenger into the ideal customer profile. So if you're a contractor or someone who sells roofs or someone who's an insurance provider, I don't think insurance works because you have to comply. But for companies like roofing, someone who's selling something door to door, or someone who's, I don't know. What they figure out is instead of having a contractor sitting in front of his truck saying, oh, we're going to give you $1,000 discount. They figured out that it's much better to use within the creative the identity of the buyer. So for them, one of the services they offer is, hey, we'll come in, we'll run better ads, we'll create better ads for you, give you better performance. And all they do is, of course, they do more stuff than this. But the thing that I love the most is that they just put whoever they're trying to sell to in the creative themselves. And funny enough, all of our best performing offers and ads for our clients and the companies that we're scaling is all based on leveraging AI creatives that have the identity of who we want to sell to. So if we want to sell to clinics, we're going to use the doctor within the ad. If we want to sell insurance, we're going to use an insurance agent or agency owner in the ad. This year, the first time we leveraged it, we saw the cost per lead go from $100 to $7 for one of our clients who was going after med spa. So instead of having her as an agency owner target med spa with her own image, we created an avatar of an AI med spa owner who leveraged an AI acquisition engine to create predictability in her clinic. And that drove the cost per lead and the cost per booked call to prices that we didn't even think was possible. This is the number one thing that they solve for these businesses that they're working with. And they also have other things, like they have better ways to script ads and they have better ways to do all these things. But I'm not going to go over this. I'm just going to focus on this here, which is the number one thing that drives the best conversion rate on ads is having whoever you're selling to be in the creative. In a world where you don't have the same infrastructure as the VSL Queens agency, we use AI creatives that are unbelievable. This is an example of a creative, not necessarily that we use to target dental practices, but that we might build for a dental practice that wants to generate more patients and more consults for their practice. But check this out.
$40,000 for implants and you are terrified it is going to hurt. Listen, I have placed about 2,000 implants. I'm going to tell you what actually happens. The surgical part, the part everyone is scared of, is 45 minutes. The wisdom tooth your dentist pulled when you were 19, that was an hour. The bone healing afterwards is what scared? Just come in for a free scan. We will show you exactly what your bone looks like. No sales pitch.
The idea here is whoever is the ICP that you want to sell to, leverage AI. AI is there. It's there. And a lot of people are like, oh, but AI is not going to work. AI is not. No, trust me. The amount of AI slop online that people pay attention to all day long is infinite. Why would they not pay attention to your ad if done well? Most people don't know how to create ads in the first place, don't know how to structure a compelling value proposition and story that actually works and does really well. The idea is not to hide the fact that it's AI. The idea is to make it so good that even if it's AI, it doesn't matter. And we believe that this is the number one pillar right now. If you can figure this out, you can unlock all the growth you need for yourself and for your clients. The next thing that I'm actually currently interested in is the fact that all of these businesses, once you have solved for the AI creatives and the angles and the content, you then need to go ahead and solve for their funnel. And this is where things get interesting. Right now, because of the swarm of agents that we have, we're able to go into any niche. I'm talking right now with a client who's going after estate planners, law firms, and we're essentially finding the top 1% in that niche and replicating the funnels, the best of the best. We can spin it up like this. You use AI to recreate the best funnels. And the way that you know if it's a good funnel or not is by just finding the top 1% in the niche that you're going after. Regardless of the niche, there's always going to be a company that's dominating the rest of the market. You need to find whatever funnel they're running and you need to be able to replicate it with AI. We use AI to find the funnels, and we also use AI to find the top 1%, and we also use it to replicate the funnels. That's step number 2. The next step is a lot of these businesses instead of placing setters and closers, which they are not able to afford or can't manage them, we actually prefer installing AI SDR, AI setters that handle all of the lead flow and book them on sales calls for them. If these leads do not show up for appointments, these agents will follow up till the end of time. They do not get tired. All they need is compute and energy. But what's cool about these verticals of boring businesses is a lot of them have different needs, which is like, hey, we need to be able to quote someone before they show up for an appointment, or we need to qualify them and make sure that they have the right credit score. Well, with AI, you can spin up. This is what we're doing. For companies that need to give a quote to their prospects before they essentially close them, we build an AI quoting system, intake system that takes care of it, that saves them 15 hours in this process that would normally just waste thousands of dollars in opportunities for every hour that they spend trying to do this manually. So AI allows you to not just help them get attention, replicate the funnel, get them appointments, but you're also able to spin up and vibe code different tools that help them even in the administration, the operation side of things, and help them make money faster. This here has been the number one opportunity that we're all focusing on with all of the companies that we're building, even for my own company. And of course, for us to be able to pull this off, we do this within TriCook AI, because you want to be able to have all the data that you need to pull this off without an AI infrastructure. But the number one lesson that I wanted to share in this video is understanding that every single person right now who's printing millions and millions of dollars per month, they're either going after consumers, helping them make money maybe with AI, or they're helping actual companies that can't figure out on their own, right? These are companies that have an urgent and expensive pain. This is like, hey, are they already paying to someone else to solve this problem, right? Because they cannot live without solving this problem. The next thing is, do they make enough money to be able to pay you a lot of money? So you need businesses and niches that have a high LTV, a high lifetime value. You do not want to go to a restaurant and sell them this service or this infrastructure. You're just simply going to go broke. But if you find a company that makes 5K, 10K, 15K from in the lifetime of having a customer, that person will pay you all day long as you keep getting them the attention, the leads, and the appointments that they need to keep making the money that they have to make. You also need to be able to reach them easily. If you cannot find them through ads or be able to do outbound and reach them and get them on sales calls, stay away from that market. And the last piece is, can they effortlessly see results? The amount of people I see going after markets where they have zero feasibility or they have no proven mechanism that help this market win is ridiculous. That's why 99% of everything we do, we start with like, hey, we want to find the truth. We want to find what's already successful, and we just want to replicate it with AI for a business. You don't want to vibe code this amazing tool that you're going to sell to a business and you don't even know if it's going to work. No, go to the market, see where money is already flowing, see where attention is flowing, and just replicate that for someone else who doesn't have the same insights as you. That's what all making money is. It's information arbitrage. You know something that someone else doesn't, and you're going to do it for them and bridge the gap for them in exchange of money. And the beautiful thing is that now with AI, we're able to find the truth in any market you give us, and we're able to replicate their entire infrastructure with AI and essentially run these unbelievably profitable service companies that have the margins of a software company and that have the scalability of a software company, because AI does all of the fulfillment. If you're interested to stop doing whatever you're doing and to go into a market where there's already demand, you know that these businesses will give you tons of money to help you solve their growth problems with AI, and you want to be able to put together a funnel, put together your offer, put together your ads, start generating leads, appointments for your own business, and scale past not just your first 10K per month, but past your first 100 grand a month, and eventually past millions of dollars per month, then click the link below. Would love to speak with you, but look around you. There's really a clear delineation between where money is currently being made. You're either helping people learn to make money online, or you're helping existing business through done-for-you services. I can list 5 to 10 people in each of these kind of like extremes who are making millions of dollars per month. If you want to be one of them, then please click the link below. We'd love to share our AI infrastructure and to consult you into becoming deserving of the success that you dream of. Our number one principle at TriCook AI and clientacquisition.io is that you should focus on becoming deserving and not try to be lucky. Take care. Bye-bye.